Well, ladies and gentlemen, everyone is wondering what happened to Elon Musk yesterday that caused him to insinuate that Donald Trump was a pedo. I mean, when you go through an argument, when you're airing out dirty laundry, and then you say that about Trump, saying he's in the files, it's why people have said, well, maybe Trump should sue Elon Musk. I don't know if it's going to get that ugly, but there was talk late last night, early this morning about Trump and Musk possibly having a phone date where they would make up. And that's not happening. Trump said, I'm not interested. Trump, it's been reported, he thinks there's something wrong with Musk in terms of drug usage. And Trump now is getting rid of his Tesla. I guess Trump bought a Tesla from Musk. Remember when Musk was dealing with all the Tesla issues with the liberals firebombing them, and so right outside of the White House, they had a Tesla exhibition or whatever. Trump bought a Tesla. Now he's selling it or giving it away. Trump has been very, I would say, nice to Musk throughout this whole ordeal. He hasn't mentioned any of the Epstein stuff. By the way, guys, at this point, the Epstein stuff, it's completely cooked. Kash Patel was on Rogan. That came out earlier today. He said, no, there's nothing here. Now he's saying there's no videos when Pam Bondi said there were videos like 2 months ago to get people off of her. They said they were going to release stuff with the Epstein. Nothing got released. They put out the binder on stuff that's already been released, and they classified stuff that had already been declassified within the binder. And now you have Patel saying there's nothing there. The conspiracies are not right. And so who knows what happens there. But in terms of the Trump-Musk relationship dynamic, you go back, there are some rumors that I can discuss and talk about that I've heard just on the internet. Obviously, there has to be more to the story than a single big, beautiful bill causing this. That seems ridiculous. I will say, this is really the second time we've seen Musk do this. He had a huge blow up with the H-1B situation. The difference there was Trump was technically on his side, or he was more of a middleman, to where it was a lot of the Trump supporters, the MAGA people, who are more America first. They don't like the whole Musk immigrant thing. I mean, you want to talk about H-1Bs, that is really good for billionaires and rich people. It's just like with tariffs. It's all these liberals, they love billionaires now. That's why they hate tariffs. But the H-1B thing, Musk got completely irate, and he just starts swearing at people on X, and just, it's almost like, okay, dude, now this is a bit of an overreaction. Now you're acting like a 3-year-old. And so it happens again, and now it's a spillover with Trump, and now Trump's the collateral with Musk, and now Trump's speculating, maybe saying it's drug use, there's something wrong with him, and Trump says, no, I'm not talking to him, this is ridiculous. Musk, it seems like, is starting to retweet things to where he's calming down. Maybe there can be some type of relationship still here. You talk to people through the chat and everything, and they're like, well, it's can this be repaired? And listen, it's a big issue when we know what Musk insinuated about Trump. We know how the left is going to use that, and I've already dispelled all of it in tweets, and it's unbelievable that people still think that's possible. Like, liberals are sitting on the golden goose. They're trying to get Trump in jail any means possible, but because they're concerned that Bill Clinton might also be in the Epstein files, or like they think that, oh, Trump went to the island. Well, you think they would leak that, right? I mean, you think that would be a decent October surprise? You realize they can just leak that and not the other stuff. You understand that, right? But I think a lot of it, probably people are saying, Patel said it's all, basically it's all destroyed. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's what I believe he meant by saying there's nothing left. But when it comes to Musk and Trump, you go back to the DOGE thing. Musk is very, because like let's just take into account the DOGE. They say they're going to save $2 trillion, which I don't even know how that's possible. How are you going to do that? There's going to be a huge recession. Then you say you're going to do $1 trillion. I guess it's more manageable if you look at defense spending. But this is a good thing to think about. So we think that the Department of Government Efficiency is going to save $1 trillion. We have an $850 billion military budget. So our expectations are you can at least chop off $100 billion in bloat off of the military budget. Fast forward to now, Musk is out of DOGE, and the military budget is going from $850 billion to $1 trillion. So since DOGE came in, our military budget has gone up by $150 billion. And I'm not blaming DOGE for that, but I'm just saying it goes to show you how effective the Department of Government Efficiency has been. And again, it's not this thing to where it's like one of the most obvious things ever. Now the liberals try to swing it and say, oh, it's terrible, you're getting rid of all these things that we need. They would say that no matter what. But the idea of having a efficiency administration, I mean, yes, we're $2 trillion in debt. We do need to cut things. We need someone to come in and try and eliminate bloat. That should have like a 95% approval rating. Nobody's disputing that. The other problem is they said they saved 150 billion, but it's not yearly. And also it's disputed if they even saved that, because people say, well, no, it actually cost money because there's going to have to be a bunch of rehiring now. I don't know. I mean, obviously DOGE to a large degree, and people say, well, you can't say it's a failure or they did a great job. Like, I mean, based on what they had planned to do, it's a failure. It is what it is. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I wanted them to eliminate a lot of stuff, and I know they couldn't touch the entitlement. It's unfortunate. But it is kind of a failure, and Musk was probably pissed off about that. But there's got to be, I mean, Musk had the black eye. Now they're saying, well, there's been multiple feuds. Remember, it came out like 2 months ago, there was a shouting match. It was like Musk and Rubio's like, why is he in this administration? And then now the report of Besant giving Musk a black eye during a debate on maybe a tariff issue or some type of economic issue, I would imagine. There's all this stuff going around with Musk and his disruptions within the administration, and now Trump's saying, yeah, he's really unstable. He's on some type of drug, and you know, there's been rumors of it already, and now he's just going crazy, and we don't know what he's doing. And now even top lawyers are saying, well, Trump's not involved at all in in the Epstein files. But the thing is Trump is named in the files, just like some Republicans have been saying. I've seen videos. It's like, yes, we know Trump is in the files. It's a massive case file. He's in pictures with Epstein. That doesn't mean he went to the island or did any of that. It's Musk insinuating it. And then everyone's like, oh, this is a huge breaking story. No, this has been known. Trump's relationship with Epstein. You don't think liberals would use that against Trump? They had the executive branch. They had the executive authority. A lot of them think Trump is the worst president in history. And so, of course, they would use that against him. So it doesn't make any sense. So, look, Musk is really unpredictable. I don't know where this goes. Who knows with Musk and Trump? But Trump is saying that, well, I'm getting rid of my Tesla. Musk is crazy. He's on some type of drugs. We don't know. Bannon came out yesterday, did a victory lap because Bannon's been against Musk this entire time. And then we see what happens yesterday with what Musk says. And then Bannon said, well, the government should shut down SpaceX. And then Musk is talking about decommissioning the Falcon and some of his rockets or whatever. And then said, no, I'm not going to do it. But, and now Musk is going at Bannon. But, I mean, this is a complete mess. And so here it says, over the last several months, Musk saw his standing in the administration diminish. He angered the president by planning to attend a sensitive briefing about China at the Pentagon, one that Trump learned about from a New York Times report. He also sparred with cabinet officials and top Trump aides and criticized the president's tariffs. The president had grown more distant from a man whom he once seemed inseparable. And so they're basically saying there was a rift with Musk, and just Musk constantly being annoying and attending these sensitive meetings he shouldn't be in. And, you know, with Musk being as rich as he is, the ego, I mean, Musk does want to be like a god. That's why he wants the colonization of Mars. And so when you have someone like that with Trump there, and the whole thing with President Musk, and liberals tried doing that. And so it's just, at a certain point, it's just too much with him, and the personality is But I mean, even all of that, you would think. I mean, it seems to be a pretty fair split in which there was no issues when he gave him the key to the White House and said you can come back at any time. And we kind of thought we were out of the woods with Musk. I guess not. And so whatever happened with Musk and Trump to cause that, you know, there's obviously reports that say, well, Musk was doing things and being a disruptor within the administration and wanted more power than he had, and so that's an issue. And you've also got this, which may have been the last straw to this relationship, talking about Donald Trump being very angry. It says just minutes before he walked into the Oval Office for a televised send-off for Musk. This is right before they had that final send-off with the DOGE and Musk completing his 130 days within the administration. An aide handed him a file. The papers in the file showed that Trump's nominee to run for NASA, a close associate of Musk, had donated to prominent Democrats in recent years, including some who Trump was learning about for the first time. The president set his outrage aside and mustered through the public farewell. So during this, Trump was pissed during this farewell because Musk, who we know with SpaceX, he requested the head of NASA to be Jared Isaacman, who has donated heavily to Democrats, and Trump was learning about it, and he felt blindsided. Like, why would you request this person? Trump starts to read some of the donations out loud, shaking his head and pointing out several of the most recent ones in the file. This was not good, the president said, an early sign of simmering tensions between the two men that would explode into the open less than 1 week later. Musk, who was sporting a black eye, which he blamed for a tussle with his young son, tried to explain. He said his friend Jared Isaacman, a billionaire entrepreneur who is set to become the next NASA administrator, cared about getting things done. Yes, he had donated to Dems, but so had a lot of people. Maybe it's a good thing, Musk told the president. It shows that you're willing to hire people of all stripes. Trump was unmoved. He said that people don't change. These are a type of people who will turn, he said, and it won't end up being good for us. Musk was anxious and mounting a vigorous defense of Isaacman with other people around him. Later in the day, Trump decided that he would withdraw Isaacman from consideration to run for NASA, dealing a major blow to Musk, who had worked to place a top associate in charge of the agency's most important to SpaceX, his rocket business. And so see how it always affects Musk's bottom line? It's just like the H-1B one. That's why they're talking about the mandates, the EV mandates, and why that might be. But Musk people are saying, no, Musk has a track record of being against it. It's not a reason why. But even something like this, Musk requesting someone that he's buddy-buddy with to run NASA, and we know how important that is in terms of the communication with SpaceX, and Trump saying, no, they donate to Democrats, we're not doing it. He withdraws his buddy's name from the consideration to run NASA. And then Musk spends the next day trying to salvage the nomination to no avail. Musk was stunned at the timing. So there were a number of things that led up to this with the NASA, with DOGE, with the bill. Yeah, the bill to me is a background thing. It's like, I mean, this is how the government works, right? But even the whole idea of that, and the Democrats saying, "Oh, it's going to increase the debt." I mean, these are all predictions based off of tax cuts. By the way, this is not like this is Trump, this horrible dude. Now you could say, all right, the increase in military budget, that's one thing that you could say is an issue. But in general, it's like the reason they're projecting the debt is because of a lack of revenue because of tax cuts. And by the way, if you look at it to where they say 2.4, this is what it was, $2.4 trillion in debt added over 10 years. So it's about $230 billion per year. We're going to make that up in tariff revenue easily. But like, I know that's not supposed to be what it is. The tariff revenue is supposed to cut into the deficit, not stop it from increasing further. But still, it's like, if you explain it, that's why I never believed, like, this whole thing with the bill, like, you're going to be this angry and go this crazy over a bill that they're passing that may or may not increase, and these are based off of projections. It's not even like these are not hard numbers. We don't know. It depends on how much they think the economy is going to grow by, if the activity within the economy can pay for the revenue that's lost from the tax cuts. So it's like, what are we even doing here? So that's why there's stuff behind the scenes. Whenever it affects Musk's bottom line, like who he wants to head NASA and be buddy-buddy with SpaceX, Trump says, no, this person donates to Democrats, we're not doing it. And Musk gets real angry about it. And you can say the EV mandates, maybe not, but the same thing with the H-1Bs and Musk needing them, and a lot of grunt work with those people, and just the amount of leverage that companies have over the H-1B workers relative to American workers. Of course they want to hire the H-1B workers. Of course they say they're harder workers. They're easier to control. It's like cattle. There's 100% leverage over those people that come in on a temporary visa. So it's anything that affects Musk's bottom line. It's a hissy fit, and it turns into this, it seems like. So either way, guys, make sure you like the video down below. Also follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.